The River is Waiting, Wally Lamb. I want to tell you about The River is Waiting by Wally Lamb, a deeply emotional and harrowing story narrated masterfully by Jeremy Sisto. Audiophile magazine Corby Ledbetter was once a commercial artist with dreams. But after losing his job, he becomes a stay-at-home father to twins, Nico and Maisie. While hiding a secret, he's begun relying on alcohol and prescription medications to dull his anxiety. Super summary: one morning, in a moment of distraction and impairment, Corby backs his car out of the driveway and tragically runs over his son, Nico. The child dies, and Corby's life unravels in that instant. Super summary: as the legal system moves in, Corby confesses not only to the accident, but to his substance use, taking responsibility even when there might be room to minimize. He accepts a plea for involuntary manslaughter, faces the fractured relationship with his wife Emily, and begins therapy with Dr. Beena Patel. His guilt becomes an unrelenting burden. Super summary: sentenced to 3 years in prison with further parole time, Corby enters the brutal realm of incarceration. He is vulnerable to abuse from guards, humiliation by inmates, and the constant weight of regret. Super summary: inside, Corby struggles at first, overwhelmed and alone. But slowly, relationships begin to form. His cellmate, Manny, becomes a source of compassion, and through that bond, Corby learns the meaning of loyalty and vulnerability. He also takes on a mentorship role with Solomon, a troubled young inmate. Super summary: a pivotal project emerges. Corby is invited to paint a mural in the prison library, encouraged by the prison librarian who believes in him. That act of creative expression becomes a lifeline, a way to channel his pain, memories, and desperate hope into something lasting. AP News. But this path is not linear or guaranteed. Two guards, Picardi and Anselmo, escalate their cruelty, harassing and assaulting inmates, including Corby. When he reports their misconduct, the prison bureaucracy closes ranks. The abuse tears open old wounds and threatens all the fragile growth he's made. Super summary: as Corby's release approaches, he tests positive for a banned substance residual from his past treatment and reacts in anger. That single moment of failure derails his early release, pushing him deeper into confinement. So brief. The final blow. During the pandemic, Corby succumbs to COVID-19 and dies in prison. He dies without ever fully reconciling his relationship with Emily, without the triumphant forgiveness we yearn for. But he leaves behind a legacy: his mural, his art, and the memory held by those he touched. Audiophile magazine. After his death, Manny reaches out to Emily, telling her the full story of what happened behind bars, including the abuses Corby endured and the connections he made. Emily, now remarried and raising Maisie, takes Corby's ashes to the river. Together with Maisie and Solomon, she scatters them into the water, an act of release, remembrance, and the hope that the river's flow holds space for grief and endurance. So brief. In the end, The River is Waiting refuses a tidy redemption. Corby remains flawed, haunted, and human. His story forces us to confront painful questions. What does it mean to forgive? Can we live with the weight of our impulses? And does art, memory, or love ever truly grant a second chance? The river waits for us to release, to grieve, to move forward, and perhaps to believe that even broken lives can leave something meaningful behind.